Welcome to the Explainer. All right, let's just dive right in. Today, we're taking a look at that absolute alphabet soup of logo file formats. If you're building a brand, managing your visual assets can honestly feel like you need a computer science degree. But don't worry, we're going to break the whole shebang down today so you can finally take total control of your brand's visual identity. Ever gotten your hands on a beautiful, shiny new logo, only to realize you actually can't use it? Yeah, it's a painful reality, isn't it? One minute you're looking at this gorgeous design on your designer's screen, the next you try to upload it to your website or shoot it over to a printer, and bam, it's a blurry, pixelated, totally unusable mess. It is incredibly frustrating for sure. But hey, you're absolutely not alone in this. So here's our roadmap for today. Think of this as your survival guide to save you from branding disasters and wasted cash. We're going to cover 1, the blurry logo problem, 2, vector versus raster, 3, choosing the right format, 4, why JPG fails, and 5, your essential brand checklist. Okay, kicking things off with section 1, the blurry logo problem. This is where the headache really begins for most of us. Picture this, you've just paid good money for a stellar new logo, and suddenly your web developer or your printer asks you for an SVG or an EPS file, and you're sitting there thinking, I have absolutely no idea what those even are. Unfortunately, it's super common for designers to just hand over a random folder of files without actually explaining what they do. And that lack of context, it just leaves you completely stranded. You end up with printing nightmares, terrible website graphics, and sometimes just one single lonely image file that is nowhere near enough for professional branding. So how do we actually fix this? Well, that brings us to section 2, vector versus raster. Getting this right is the absolute core difference. Take a look at that crisp star on the left. That right there is a vector file, and honestly, it's pure mathematical magic. Instead of tiny colored squares, vector files are made from mathematical paths, kind of like a flexible rubber band. Because of this, you can scale them infinitely without ever losing a drop of quality. I mean, you could literally stretch a vector logo to the size of a giant highway billboard, and it would stay razor sharp. Now, compare that to the pixelated mess on the right. That's a raster file. Those are made of pixels. So the second you stretch them too large, they literally fall apart and just become a blurry mess. Raster files are strictly bound by their original size. And understanding that fundamental difference leads us perfectly into section 3, choosing the right format. Let's decode those acronyms, shall we? First up on the chopping block, SVG, which stands for Scalable Vector Graphics. Now, this is your absolute best choice for websites and digital branding. Why? Well, unlike other web files, SVGs stay perfectly razor sharp at every single screen size. Whether it's a massive desktop monitor or a tiny mobile phone screen, it looks perfect. But here's the real kicker. SVG files are usually much smaller and faster to load. And faster websites mean a way better user experience, which directly boosts your SEO performance. So if your website logo looks even slightly blurry right now, upgrading to an SVG is exactly what you need to do. Next up, we've got the PNG. Now remember our vector versus raster rule from a minute ago? Well, PNG is a raster format, so yep, it's made of pixels. But it has a serious superpower. It supports transparent backgrounds. This makes it absolutely perfect for things like social media graphics, email signatures, and presentation slides. If your logo currently has a clunky, ugly white box stuck behind it, you almost certainly just need a transparent PNG. They keep edges super clean for everyday digital use. But just keep in mind, since it is a raster file, if you stretch it way too far, it's going to get blurry. Moving right along, let's look at EPS. This one is the absolute foundation of your physical brand. EPS is a vector-based format, meaning it scales infinitely. And even today, this is still the gold standard for professional commercial printing. We're talking shop signage, packaging, custom embroidery, massive banners, vehicle wraps, the whole 9 yards. Without an EPS file, your beautiful logo can get severely pixelated during physical production. And trust me, there is literally nothing worse than paying for a giant expensive banner only to have your brand look cheap because you handed over the wrong file type. Then we have the AI file. No, not artificial intelligence, Adobe Illustrator. You can really think of this as the master key to your brand. It's the fully editable master version of your logo. This is exactly the file that any future designers will need if you ever want to tweak colors, update fonts, resize elements, or export new file types. Guard this one with your life because having this source file makes future rebranding or even just simple updates so much easier and way cheaper. Your new designer won't have to waste hours manually tracing or recreating your logo from scratch. And finally, the format we all know and love, the trusty PDF. The PDF is an incredibly flexible format, and when it comes to logos, it's usually vector-based. The real beauty of the PDF is that it works on pretty much every device known to humanity. It remains one of the most trusted professional formats worldwide. That makes it the ultimate go-to file for easily sharing stuff across your team, getting quick client approvals, sending out print previews, or just checking your brand guidelines. Okay, let's lock all of this knowledge in. This is your definitive format cheat sheet. You might even want to pause the explainer right here and grab a screenshot, because these are the hard rules you really need to stick to. SVG, that goes on your websites. PNG, that's for social media and slide decks. EPS is strictly for physical commercial print. AI is your master file for future editing. And PDF, that's your everyday sharing file. See, when you map it out like that, it's really that simple. But wait a second. What about the most famous image format of them all? That brings us to Section 4, Why JPG Fails, the ultimate branding villain. Okay, here is a hard and fast rule. JPGs are for photos, not logos. While you see JPG files everywhere, they are almost never the right choice for professional branding. Why is that? Well, two massive reasons. First off, no transparency. A JPG will always force a solid background onto your logo, usually an annoying white box. Second, they literally lose quality through compression every single time you save them. Sure, they're perfectly fine for a quick preview or temporary sharing, but for websites, professional printing, or clean, transparent graphics, they're totally inadequate. Just say no to JPG logos. All right, so how do you actually take control of this whole process? Let's jump into our final section. Section 5, your essential brand checklist. It's time to demand what you need. The absolute most crucial point here is this. A professional designer should never, ever deliver just one single file type. You really have to push back on lazy deliverables like JPEG screenshots or quick Canva exports. Here is the absolute minimum package you need to demand for your brand. Ready? You must get SVG files for the web, transparent PNGs for your everyday digital stuff, EPS files for your printers, the original AI source file for your own master records, and of course, PDF files for easy sharing. Do not settle for anything less than this complete package. Now, if you're wondering why you need to be such a stickler about this, honestly, it's all about protecting your bottom line. Having the right files avoids slow-loading websites, which protects your hard-earned SEO rankings and keeps your mobile experience completely smooth. It prevents super costly screw-ups in large-scale commercial printing. But perhaps most importantly, it builds visual trust. Let's be real. Blurry graphics instantly make a business look kinda amateurish. On the flip side, crisp, high-quality formats instantly project authority and true professionalism. Before we wrap things up today, I want to drop a quick bonus tip right from our source material that is going to save you massive headaches down the road. Build a dedicated brand asset folder. It's super easy. Step 1, set up a secure cloud folder on whatever platform you like. Step 2, neatly organize all your new logo files, your fonts, your brand color palettes, and any usage guidelines right inside that one central hub. If you do this, I promise you working with printers, web developers, and marketing teams from here on out will be a total breeze. And that brings us to our final thought. I want you to ask yourself right now, do you actually know where your original master logo files are? Surprisingly, so many businesses just completely lose track of their master files after a couple of years. Don't let that be you. Take what we've covered today, go do a quick audit of your current brand assets, and make sure your visual identity is built on a solid, scalable foundation. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will catch you on the next one.